Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades, and welcome back, and we are getting into the last episode of the Ultimatum South Africa, as you know, episode 10, and it is the reunion, and then that'll be it for this series. I hope they do put on another one, because you know what, these people did not quit. Let's just put it this way, these people did not quit with their shenanigans. That's all I'm going to say right now. But before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do what it is that you good people do, because as you know, I am on the road to 1k. Anyway, let's get into this episode. All I'm going to say is each and every one of them looked good. Let's just put it this way. Tabby had short pink hair and it suited the frick out of her. I didn't even recognise Ruth. That's how good she looked. I didn't even recognise Khanya, and I have to say, Khanya stepped it up. Now, I already kind of know before they did their surprise, because they let it out on the show because it's a year later when they did the reunion, and we now know that Khanya and Kay have had a baby boy together. At that point of the reunion, they were still together, but as we've recently found out, I think Kay put a story out on his Instagram. Not too sure because I don't really follow him, but I've seen things crop up as you do. And basically they've split up since the reunion, and everything after that, they've split up and they've decided that it's best for them to actually co-parent in regards to their child, rather than actually try and be together in a relationship, which I would say is the best thing for them, because they were hella toxic together. Like, they really did not know how to communicate properly as adults at all. You saw this through the show, and you kind of see a little bit of it, but not too much of it, because Khanya was actually a little low this time. She weren't as high strung as she normally is. I don't know if her having the baby has, like, you know, settled her emotions down a little bit more, made her see things from a different way and be a little bit more introspective and reflective as well. So what they did is they had them all sit down. There was one sofa that was actually empty, and she did talk about Lebo and Nala having left the experiment and that the sofa's empty. So I'm like, okay, so they're not going to be there. But lo and behold, Nala and Lebo came in together. At first, I did not click that they were possibly still together until they started to talk to each other. But you know what? Lebo got her kickback. Lebo got her just desserts on this man. Let's just put it that way, and we'll talk about it when we get to it. So they started with Ruth and Isaac, and as we all know, that they decided that they were not going to be together at the end of the day. I will always say that Isaac didn't really appreciate Ruth and didn't really want Ruth, and I think Ruth already knew that in the back of her mind, and that's why she did the shit that she did with Nala. It doesn't excuse her behaviour, because she wanted to do it. It still don't excuse what she did in that sense, in that scenario, because in essence she cheated on a man the same way Nala cheated on his gal. But at the end of the day, I kind of can see the context as to why Ruth did what she did, because she was already out the door. She'd already seen Isaac as being separated from her. At the end of the day, I don't understand why she actually gave him an ultimatum anyway, when she already knew that the relationship between her and Isaac was already done. To be fair, she knew this. She just needed that confirmation, which Isaac gave her when he did the ring thing. And I will always, like I did in my previous episode, say that Isaac did that for different motivations. The way in which he brought the ring out, then showed it and then pulled it back was a piss take, because he didn't really have to do that. So they do end up showing all of Ruth's bits and everything she was saying and doing. And let's just put it this way, Ruth is an upfront person through and through. She says what she means, and she does what she says. At the end of the day, there's no bones about Ruth. She's transparent, basically. She's open, she's honest, and she don't give a shit. She will say what she needs to say when she needs to say it, and she will also take accountability for her actions. Unlike Nala, unlike Khanya, unlike Isaac, because he doesn't necessarily take responsibility. He's always looking for somebody else to blame. So then they go through like Isaac's journey. They asked him basically, does he think things would have turned out differently if he'd accepted Lebo's proposal? And we already know the answer to that. We knew it was going to be a yes. He would probably have had a better experience with Lebo than he would have with Khanya. But as again, like I said in previous episodes before, Isaac is a proper visual person. He went for a pretty face and a fine waist. That's what Isaac went for, thinking that it would work for him, not necessarily knowing the true essence of Khanya. Lebo was a good woman, a damn good woman, and he should have picked her, because right now they continue to be friends. Outside of this experiment, they speak to each other, as they said on the show, more or less nearly every day. They have this chat with each other, and Lebo's been open and confiding in him about her relationship with Nala. And let's just say it got juicy. It got juicy. So then we kind of know that Ruth is dating someone, and Isaac is also speaking to someone, but not necessarily fully dating them. And it's still, again, for both of them, long distance. And I'm like, ain't they got no eligible people where they live? Because basing their shit on them two, long distance don't work for them. His life, Isaac ain't ready to get married to nobody. You could see that in the way that he talks. You could see that in his mannerisms throughout this whole process, and how he presented himself to his family when he took Ruth to go and meet them. He was just thinking about me, and I. It weren't like the both of us or a couple sense at the end of the day. Even now, talking about this new girl, it's just someone I'm talking to. But he didn't bring that up until he heard what Ruth had to say in regards to the fact that, she started dating someone and it's going really well. That's the time that Isaac brought up the fact that, he is chatting to someone, and he's just seeing how it goes. It's early days, and he's just really seeing how that goes. Nobody would have known that if Ruth didn't bring up her shit at the end of the day. And then we get to Nala. Nala. What can I say about this man? But he's just a breezy easy. He is not a good person at all, and he was never good for Lebo, and he would never have been good for Ruth either. Nala is the type of person where he chats a good game, but when he's caught out, he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up, because he talks about Lebo having too many insecurities and her having to surpass those. My guy, you gave her those insecurities with the fuck shit that you did at the end of the day. So you see Lebo sitting on the sofa just listening to this man spout. Nala just looked awkward watching all of that back. And you could see with Lebo, she was getting angry all over again, because she was seeing things for the first time that she wouldn't have seen without the playbacks from this show at the end of the day. So she was seeing all the antics that Nala was getting up to, where to his face, he was trying to deny and act like things weren't going on. He was doing it to everybody's freaking face at the end of the day. So Lebo could see that Ruth was not the instigator for the shit that happened between her and Nala. Nala was the full-on instigator. Nala was in that fully. So I don't know what type of shit he's probably told her, but it ain't the good shit at the end of the day. And I think seeing all of that playback opened Lebo's eyes a little bit more. Nala shouldn't have said nothing after that. He really should not have spoke after that. Nala should not have tried to extricate himself from it all. What he should have turned to do to Lebo is say, all I can say is I'm sorry for making her look like a fool. And in terms of entrusting herself to this process and hoping I was entrusting myself to this process when actually I wasn't. I was there, like, doing my thing, and I accept responsibility and accountability for that, and give her your heartfelt apologies. But no, this man did not know when to shut up. he was basically saying he didn't want everyone to find out the way it was done. Like, he was trying to say that Ruth should have told Isaac and he should have been the one to tell Lebo. And I was like, my brother, please, please, no. Nala was lying left, right, and motherfucking centre up in that bullshit. At the end of the day, Lebo was not going to hear it from Nala because Nala didn't even tell Isaac the truth. Yeah? The only reason why Lebo heard what she heard is because Ruth took that stance and said, do you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to let I'm going to let Lebo know exactly what's going on between me and her man. Nala was not going to do that. He weren't going to do it. He turned around, Nala then turned around and thanked Ruth for everything. And Lebo looked at him as if to say, my guy, are you mad? Why are you thanking this girl for everything? Yeah, when you actually ruined everything with this girl. And you're sitting right next to me right now and thanking her for what? I was just like, at this point, Nala, you need to just shut up. Like, seriously, cut bait, shut your mouth, don't say another motherfucking word at this point. But did he? No. He just continued, and everybody was sitting there just listening to him. You could hear a pin drop because nobody was going to save this man. He didn't know when to shut up. Not even the presenter was going to save him from himself. Everybody knew that he was putting his foot in it every single time he kept on chatting. And he was digging himself into a deeper and deeper hole as he kept going. Everybody sat there looking at him thinking, what is this nonsense this man is chatting right now? So it was at this point that the penny didn't drop for me that these two, Lebo and Nala, were together. And I was like, huh? After all that, and you still took this man back, my girl, what are you doing? So they asked Lebo, in hearing that, how was she feeling? And basically Lebo was saying that it didn't sit well with her, that she'd called him out for admiring another woman in front of her. And I was like, yeah, Nala, you've walked into that one because you don't know when to keep your ass mouth shut at the end of the day. So he was telling Lebo that he loved her and then saying to Ruth what a great partner she was. So Lebo asked him, do you love Ruth? Nala could not answer that question. Nala was sitting there like a fucking fish out of water. His mouth was flapping in the wind. The presenter had to save him at that point and said to him, hold that thought. I was like, no. Let this brother speak. Let this brother, tell his truth. Was Nala in love with Ruth? Because my guy was not answering that last question. Now, it was a quick and easy answer to do. Yes or no. You just sat there and tell the room that you love Lebo, but you didn't answer when they asked you, well, do you love Ruth? That was rather telling. That silence was rather telling, and he was saved by the presenter. So the presenter then turned and asked Ruth if there was anything she wanted to say to Lebo or Nala. Ruth looked nonplussed and basically said, well, no. And I'm like, well, to be fair, it's been a year. What's been said has been said. On the night that Ruth let the truth out, it can't be taken back. What else can she say to Lebo and to Nala at the end of the day? Lebo basically says that she holds Nala accountable for what Nala did, not Ruth. And this is where Scissor then speaks up. And this is why I say Lindelli looks like a person who is not interested in the fuck what comes out of Scissor's mouth, because that man was so lounged back on the chair. It was like he didn't really want to be there. His body was there, but his spirit had taken him somewhere else. He kept on giving this girl some looks, some side eyes, and just looking out across the crowd, showing no emotion, no expression, no nothing. So I was like, are these two still together? Because I couldn't tell, but I could see on Scissor's hand she still had the engagement ring on. So I thought obviously they are. So basically she did commend Lebo on how she held herself, and I'm like, well, Lebo was a queen at the end of the day. Throughout, she was cool, calm and collected. My gal didn't get angry. And I've always said, when fuck shit's going in and a woman stays quiet and is calm and collected, there's something coming. there is something coming. They're just biding their time. They're literally just biding their time until they let it out, and Lebo did. She waited. They did ask what had happened between Nala and Lebo and whether they were back together, because nobody knew that they were back together, so it was talked about on this show. And Lebo had said that she'd broken up with Nala and then tried things again a month later. Isaac said Lebo is not happy at all. And I was like, well, judging by Lebo's face and the expression she was making, you could tell she weren't happy with Nala at all. So Nala was looking at her as if to say, well, what's going on here? So again, Nala starts talking and singing Ruth's praises. And I'm like, at this point, Nala, you need to shut your mouth, because you still haven't said whether you loved Ruth or not. And I was just like, Lebo, you need to let this one fly, because Nala is for the streets at the end of the day. So, as again, it said, Lebo admitted that she wasn't happy. Nala looked hella shocked by this. And I'm like, how can you not realise that your woman is not happy? She's sitting on that chair a mile apart from you, giving you constant side-eye. She is not happy with what she's viewed and what she's hearing coming from your mouth right now. So Lebo explains that Nala has not changed. She got back together with him in the hopes that things would change and things would progress, but it has not. She's not happy at all. She talks about the fact that her and Isaac have been talking. Nala gets pissy at that, absolutely pissy at that. So then Lebo lets it loose, basically, that she's breaking up with Nala. She broke up with Nala on live TV. All I can say is, why, sir? What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow, Nala. You reap what you sow. You embarrassed this woman on TV, sleeping with next gal, and then trying to make it seem like, nothing will go on. But you just got your ass dumped in front of every single body there and everybody else that was watching. Nala got mad. He got upset. Him get up and go walk off the set. Now, I thought he would have stormed out and carried on walking, but no. True Nala style, he just goes to the side of the set and stands there with his hand on his head. I was just like, yeah. He's acting it now. Nala was acting it now, acting the grievous bloody boyfriend, the hurt boyfriend. I didn't buy it for a raw second, to be fair. So you see Genesis go over to him and have this chat with him, and Lebo's just sitting there like, I don't give a shit, to be fair. Lebo's like, I don't give a shit. Even Aiden started clapping as if to say that that's what I needed you to do. Because even Isaac was like, why are you with this dude? He's not for you. So everybody else could see. Lebo ended up seeing it, dumped his ass. So yes, as I said, Genesis and Nala are having a chat. And as I said again, Genesis knows exactly what to say in the moments that it is needed to be said. Genesis speaks so much sense and life into people, yeah, to the point that he got Nala to come back and sit down on the couch. Nala was basically nonplussed and basically said that he did not know that this was coming. I'm calling bullshit on that, because I'm like, have you not seen your girl's face? Seriously, if your girl has not been trying with you the way she was trying with you in terms of getting you to the ultimatum or X, Y, and Z, then you should have known things were different between you. So then Nala tried to blame the situation of friendship between Lebo and Isaac, because Nala tried to say, oh, you said there's a girl you're talking to, and you and Lebo have been talking. I was like, yeah, Nala, don't go there. Even Isaac said, don't go there, don't be stupid. Him and Lebo are just friends. Don't be ridiculous, right? And more for the point, Isaac said it was a long distance thing. I think Lebo and Isaac live in the same vicinity at the end of the day. So no, it's not Lebo. What Nala needed to do was actually take responsibility for where he's ended up right now. He needs to literally reflect and find ways in which to change his behaviors of a freaking lifetime so he doesn't end up in the same position again. Because what Lebo is saying is Nala has not changed. He's still a freaking ladies man. He's still flirty with people. That's not what she wanted to see. That's not going to bolster her. That's not going to help her insecurities be any lesser. So yeah, he was no good to her. He was, as I said, for the streets. So we see that Tabby has no ring on her finger. They've said they've put the engagement on pause to fix the broken pieces. But Genesis says that he has to do the whole gamut of going to the home first, speaking to the family first, before he asks for her hand in marriage, because he has to respect that tradition. So he's quite happy to wait for Tabby, because at the end of the day he's saying that's his woman. That is his woman. That's who he's going to end up with. Make no bones about it. He is going to be walking down the aisle at some point with that girl. So they go to Lindelli, and he was tempered in terms of what was said about he was tempered in terms of what he said about Tabby and their experiences, because he didn't want to hurt Caesar, because you could tell sitting on the couch that Genesis didn't like really to hear about Tabby and Lindelli speak about their experiences and go through that whole gamut of connection and X, Y, and Z. And it was the same with Caesar. She literally did look upset when the discussion was happening, but then you see Caesar turn around and actually give thanks to Tabby for giving her a new Lindelli. And again, Lindelli there was no emotion. There was absolutely nothing. Caesar says that she's still nervous of marriage, but she believes that she's made the right decision in getting engaged to Lindelli. Lindelli basically said there's no specific date as yet. There's communication from both families. They're going through the official sense in regards to putting down agreements. And Lindelli basically said by the end of the year is when he would expect to be walking down the aisle with Caesar. Caesar was very excited by that prospect. You see Khanya speak up and basically apologize for body shaming Caesar. She said there was a different way that she could have handled it, but at the end of the day, because Caesar did apologize to Khanya for coming into her space and setting things off in the way that she did, even though she was not comfortable, because it did show the aspects of the situation that brewed between Caesar and Khanya, and the fact that Caesar is a laughy person, even in heights of nervousness and heights of when she's being disrespected, she will still laugh because she doesn't know what else to do. And I said that within my previous episodes. Caesar does that because she doesn't know what else to do. She doesn't know how to protect herself from the bullshit that's coming her way. And I think it was a long time coming in terms of Khanya apologizing to Caesar for body shaming her, because I'm sure they've all watched the segments back and she must have sat there and reflected about what Khanya looked like on screen doing that shit to Caesar. So Aidan got a job at last in a place that he likes. Yes, they're still engaged, but as Courtney says, she's just happy that they're engaged because that's something there and they can make those plans as and when needed to. They want to be more settled first. And I thought, you know what, the hard part for Aidan was getting engaged. He's now engaged, so the marriage is definitely going to be far off. That ain't going to happen anytime soon. Like, seriously, I don't see that happening anytime soon between them two. So then it goes to Kay and Khanya. So Kay is basically saying that he wouldn't have done it any other way. He still would do the same thing that he did when he went into the ultimatum if he had to do it all over again. So Kay explained a bit about the promise ring and the fact that he just wanted to make Khanya understand it weren't a case of they're not going to get married. It was more of a case that they needed to put in the work. And of course, Khanya couldn't keep her mouth shut and she tried to interrupt him. She basically says that they went to therapy. and then starts talking over Kay, and then no one really listens to Kay at all at that point. They literally just go off on a tangent, all of them. Khanya basically said that what we saw on screen was not a true reflection of who she is. I'm like, well, who was it then? Who the hell was it? Was it Casper the Minskin Ghost? Like, seriously, if it wasn't a true reflection of who you are, that's the first thing that we saw about this gal. She could have done it any other way, but she decided to do it that way because that is in essence who Khanya is. That's a part of who she is. She reacted to situations the way she reacted to situations majority of the time. And of course, Kay steps in and takes all the responsibility for her actions. And I said, and this is why Khanya won't change the patterns of a lifetime. She won't change her behaviour at all because Kay is always there to literally soften the blow and say it's not her fault. It's because of this, it's because of that. Let this woman accept responsibility for who the fuck she is at the end of the day. She was rude, she was combative, she was defensive, and she was insulting as hell. And a little bit physical with people too. So come on now. So Kay ends up praising Khanya. And again, everybody else had a thing to say when it came to Nala and his bullshit. But when it come to Khanya and her bullshit, nobody had nothing to say, not a bean to say. So they did end up getting back together after, the debacle with the whole promise ring shit. And it was on the condition that they go to therapy and work on themselves. And then that's when Khanya let it out the bag that, she'd had a baby and everyone congratulated her. They gave her a present. And that is where the reunion ended. It weren't really anything to write home about. Yes, there was a little bit of drama between Nala and Lebo and everybody else. But in essence, it was a bit staid. You could definitely tell that there was no live studio audience, so when they were clapping and the music was going, you could tell that whole scene was freaking empty. It just wasn't giving in that. And I don't even think that was down to the presenter, because I know the one presenter wasn't well, so his wife took over and did what she did. But she was asking all the right questions, don't get me wrong, she was asking all the right questions, yeah, but it just didn't, it didn't give fully what it was giving. Yes, I said at the beginning it was a bit of a doozy, and it was, but I just expected more. But you can let me know what you think. Anyway, that's the end of that. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do what it is that you do, because I am on the road to 1k. And I'll be gracing your screens very soon, because we have Love Island 2024 coming on Monday. And then we also have The Perfect Match coming on Netflix on the 7th of June. So, yes, I will be doing those too. And I'll be finishing off the last episode of Bridgerton again. And this will be the 4th episode. And then on the 13th of June, once I've watched those episodes, I'll be coming back to your screens again with another Bridgerton lot. But until then, I'll see you all soon on the flip side. Bye bye.